I do want to get to Karl-Anthony Towns because I heard your reaction when I said he was eligible. I said $32 million, but I was rounding up. It's $31.6 million.
Wow.
Let's just call it 32. Shall we, Byron? If he had made any one of those All-NBA teams, he would have gotten that pile of cash you see him sitting in. Byron, what's your reaction to him missing it? Rudy Gobert basically got that slot instead of him on the third team.
Yeah, I feel for him. The young man has been great, but I put a lot of onus on winning. I really do.
Right.
And Gobert was a guy at that position who got to the playoffs. Utah played extremely well. Karl-Anthony Towns is, no doubt about it, one of the best big men in the game, but your team wasn't that successful.
Right.
So when that happens to me, I believe that, you get what you deserve.
Right.
So to speak, and that might sound harsh, but I love Kyle. The cat is a player. I think he's a tremendous player. But at the end of the day, if you are the main guy on your team, if you are the superstar on your team, and you can't carry your team to the elite status, which a lot of guys can, but at least get them to where they can compete, and get an opportunity to play in the playoffs, and he wasn't able to do that, then that's when I look at it and say, you know what? Hey, look at his numbers. Numbers are great.
Right.
Numbers are great, but sometimes numbers doesn't tell the whole story when it comes to winning.
So if you look at this list,
Right.
what do you think, Perk? Do you think that he is the fourth best center this past season in the league? Do you feel like the numbers he was getting toward the end of the season? There's some people who didn't vote for him, I know, because they felt like he was a little bit padding his numbers in the last 2 months because they weren't necessarily in a playoff chase, especially toward the end.
Well, this is my take on it. I feel like, to me, I'm going to say this again, it's disturbing because I understand winning, and I agree with you on that, Coach. But at the end of the day, as an individual, you still have to go out there and put up the numbers. And we're talking about not only Karl-Anthony Towns, but we're talking about Anthony Davis also. These guys were all-stars. And Gobert wasn't an all-star. And then if you're looking at it from a general manager standpoint, who would you rather give the Supermax to? Would you rather give the Supermax to a Rudy Gobert, or would you rather give the Supermax to a Karl-Anthony Towns?
Right, and this, by the way,
Anthony
isn't
Davis?
for Supermax, but it is in terms of who'd you rather have.
Right,
And that kind of gets back to my original point at the end of what I said at the top of the show, which is we have no way of saying who are the 15 best players in the league.
Absolutely.
There is no way to do that right now. We have no way of saying who's the best player in the league right now. It would have been interesting this year because I think we would have seen a changing of the guard. If there was an award for that, if most valuable player actually just meant who's the best player in the league, we would have seen a changing of the guard from maybe LeBron James to Kevin Durant. That would have meant something. And then if we had, I don't know, a separate award for best season, the way the NHL does, the way the NFL has best offensive player, that would have gone to maybe James Harden, maybe Giannis would be in the mix for that, that kind of thing. We don't have that kind of stuff. And for All-NBA in particular, the game is so positionless right now, Kendrick.
It is.
It doesn't make sense to me not to just say first team, second team, third team, not best five, second best five, not by position. And then you would have what you say. If you had a general manager who had to pick between this guy and that guy, we know who they'd pick. But that's not how the teams worked out.
I agree with you, Rachel. Because my thing is that would you really start, if I'm a GM, I'm starting my franchise with Karl-Anthony Towns, or I'm going to start my franchise with Rudy Gobert? Like, let's be real.
Okay, all right, you make a good point.